People are so upset with Oshinoko's manga ending that they now are burning their manga volumes. This is honestly something that has happened time and time again in the manga community, and every time I see this, I get disappointed. This has happened with Erased. I know this has happened with Attack on Titan. This has happened with My Hero Academia. Most likely it's happened with Jujutsu Kaisen. But one video I made on this topic a long time ago, which has been about 8 years at this point, 7-8 years, was Tokyo Ghoul. This is actually my video, my old video. But, there was people burning manga volume copies of Tokyo Ghoul because of a certain pairing that happened in Tokyo Ghoul Re, aka Tokyo Ghoul Part 2, on chapter 125 and 126. It's quite an interesting time period. But anyways, manga burning is something that has always been somewhat within the space of manga and anime discussion for whatever reason. I never really understood why people would spend so much money on these manga volumes just in turn to burn them. It's just like, you know, even if you don't like the series, like you don't like the direction of it and it feels like it's wasted space or whatever, you could sell, you know, your manga volumes. Like, you could make money back, even if it's like 50 cents or $1, you're at the very least making some money back than no money. And actually, it takes a lot more money and costs a lot more money to potentially burn your said copy of your manga volume or manga volumes and the cleanup after that than anything else. But anyways, getting into the main point, this really just brings into perspective the reaction that the community is currently having with Oshinoko's ending. I already discussed this a few days ago. I made a video talking about, like, the current chapter that came out officially last week, but also the leaks that, you know, have come out for the final chapter, and the final chapter is set to come out this upcoming week on Wednesday. I've already taken a glance at the chapter, and I'm just going to be honest with you, I'm not really spoiling anything right now. It's ass. The final chapter is just straight ass. That is the best way to really describe it. It is not a good ending, and it's not because it's a tragic ending, it's not a good ending. It really just misses the whole point of what the characters really represent throughout the entire story. Not just, let's say, Aqua, but Ruby, Akane, Kana, Miyako, even the main villain, the main villain, actually, Aqua's father. It misses the entire point of, like, everything that was set up for the entire story to make it so engaging, and like why I was such an iconic character as well. But anyways, I'm getting potentially into spoiler territory. The point I'm trying to make is that obviously the community is not happy with the conclusion. And when you get to the point of, like, this type of stuff, we can obviously say this is a crazy individual that is burning their manga volumes and, you know, this is not good, etc. And it's not good. You should never do something like this because you could easily just, like, either donate your manga volumes or sell it to make money, whatever the case may be. I think burning is just really... It's not just, like, insulting to the author, but it's insulting to yourself and everything else. Just make money off of it at the very least if you're going to do it. But obviously, the reason why people usually do this type of content, for instance, like why they burn a manga volume or volumes or throw them in the trash can, is to get attention. That is the real reason. However, I will say, when someone burns their manga volumes, it definitely is a step above, like, let's throw my manga into the trash can that's obviously clean, and once the video cut is over, I'm going to pull them out of my trash can and put them back on my shelf. That's typically what you see from people, but when you see someone go the extra mile and they actually burn their copies, it shows that they really are genuinely upset. There is definitely some... they're really rustled by the whole situation with the manga. Now, to be fair, yes, I do agree that the ending is not good. I would not go to something like of this extremes. But let's get back into the topic of the manga. So, Oshinoko, I've had a few days to really sit back and think about, like, my thoughts of the last chapter that came out and the leaks that's coming out. And I am still going to be making a video when the chapter officially does release. I'm going to talk about it and stuff. But for now, I really gotta say that just taking a hard look at the entirety of the story and what happened recently and some information I found out, I think Aka-sensei really just doesn't want to write anymore. Doesn't want to write Oshinoko. Correction. And let me explain. So, Aka played Apex about a year and a half ago. I remember there was a hiatus briefly for Oshinoko, and Aka was going into a tournament. I believe Aka lost the said tournament, and, you know, there was a lot of time dedicated away from Oshinoko to do that tournament, which is fine, but it was clear that the priorities wasn't there for the manga that he was currently working on. But after that, there was another manga, apparently, that Aka was working on, and it it fell. It didn't do well. It basically got axed/canceled, and I feel like thanks to the overall way that was handled with the previous work Aka was working on, and how he was currently working on Oshinoko, probably he became completely disinterested in Oshinoko because what he was wanting to work on just basically got canceled, and so there was probably some aggression or animosity that was thrown from that series being canceled onto Oshinoko. Also, another way you can really look at it, I talked about this in my video I made a few days ago, is that you can definitely notice an obvious link of the quality of the story dropping off a cliff when you saw the whole plot point of Aqua and Ruby potentially becoming a pairing. Obviously, that would be wild, especially in this day and age for anime and manga, but it definitely would cause conversation, controversy, and it would definitely fit the MO for Mingo as well, you know, the artist of Oshinoko. It would fit in line with their previous works, and then Aka's involvement as well. You know, that potential ending of Aqua and Ruby get together, even if it would have been, like, not the best, maybe, it still would have been a better ending than the current trajectory of where Oshinoko is obviously headed. And I think that when that plot point was happening within the manga, I think that the editors and the management at the magazine probably shut it down. They were probably like, we're done. We don't want this, don't do this, you can't do this. And then told them to potentially focus on Kana or Akane, because you notice, once that stuff stopped, like with Ruby and Aqua, and we instantly segued into Akane and Ruby and, you know, them discussing, you know, their feelings towards Aqua, and then that Kana was trying to say, you know, Akane should be with him, but then Akane's like, no, you should be with him. It kind of dived into that. It feels like there was definitely a shift there, technically within the story, and I feel like Aka, more or less, there was already things kind of being pressed against the manga, but I think once that happened, Aka probably just wiped his hands with the entirety of the manga and wanted to move on to potentially the next work. Now, I can't confirm this one what I'm about to say, so don't quote me on this one, but I have been told that there is like some form of interview or something like that, or maybe a podcast or whatever, that Aka was on, and has discussed in length that he does get bored with some series sometimes. He just has disinterest. That I have been told. I don't know if this is true or not, so take that one with a grain of salt. But if that is indeed true, it definitely gives credibility to what's happening with Oshinoko. But to make a long story short, if that really is the case, and Aka really became disinterested, I don't think I ever want to really read a work from Aka ever again. I'm not going to burn manga or anything like that, but like, I will say, if someone literally can't finish the series, I understand it's human. Like, you know, it is human nature. If you have disinterest, you're bored, and you just want to wrap it up, that's fine. But the thing is, when you dedicate years of your life to something, and you do this potentially multiple times, people are not going to want to continue to support you. Like, think about Kaguya. Now, I haven't personally seen the ending of Kaguya, but I have heard for a long time now Kaguya's ending was not good. I have heard that. And people have highlighted that the same issues that Oshinoko is currently going through is some of the issues that Kaguya went through. And if that's indeed the case, Aka obviously has a habit of potentially just giving up or not caring anymore about their manga when it reaches the end and moving on to the next work. And if that's indeed the case, like I said, I don't think I ever want to read another work from the author ever again. I might peek it, but I don't think I really ever want to invest an actual lot of time into one of Aka's stories ever again, if that really is the case. Like, if I can actually find the interviews or some form of, like, podcast and stuff of him basically saying he becomes disinterested in stuff, and if that is indeed the case, I do think I will probably wipe my hands with reading future works, because that's not just disrespectful to, like, the audience that Aka cultivates, it's disrespectful to himself. It's like, why invest so many years of your life into something just to throw it away? I know it's human nature, and we can easily look over that because it's sad and stuff, because that's just what happens to people, but when you do it multiple times, it's a different matter. It's like, maybe you like, I don't want to say maybe you shouldn't write manga, because that's very cruel and mean to say, because Aka does genuinely, does make good stories. Like, we have seen it. Like, you can see from Oshinoko why the reaction, like, why someone would burn the manga volume is so radical, and why, obviously, I don't agree with this, but why people would come to this point, is because Aka legitimately can write. Aka can write a good story. We've seen it. That's why it has a big fan base right now. And it's sad that Aka, having such a good amount of skill at writing, just gives up at the end, for whatever may be the reason. So, I don't know, I feel like it's very disrespectful on all sides, and I think that, yeah, if this is really indeed the case, if I could find that, like I said, I probably won't continue reading any more of Aka's future works. But, I'll leave it at that, though. Thank you so much for watching, be safe, stay healthy, and I love you guys. Chibi out.